What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of San Pedro Paranormal. Back here with returning guest, Damien Franco.
Hello, everybody.
This is actually her third time being on the show.
Three.
She's done 2 other episodes.
Yeah.
And this episode's actually going to be a continuation to the last one you did, which was the Franco Files. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. But she's back to talk about more of her haunting tales and also to tell a little bit about what's going on in her life. Since some things have changed since the last time she was here.
A few things have changed, yeah.
Yes. So if you guys don't know this, Damien has been in, she's done a short film. She's been on a show on Roku. She's now working on movie props.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
So exciting.
That's a dream of mine.
It's a dream of mine too. It's finally coming true.
Yeah. But anyways, welcome back, Damien.
Thank you.
Why don't we start with what's been going on with you? Yeah, because one of the last times we spoke, you were telling me how you were having some stuff happen to you during this time at your job where you work.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Which is not far from where you actually used to live and had those hauntings.
Right next door. So,
yes.
That's right. I was sitting in the kitchen with the lady. I'm a caregiver, so we were sitting in the kitchen chatting it up. And then I got up to wash my hands and get a paper towel. So I walk past the kitchen counter, just go get a paper towel. And it's not, like, the windows aren't open or anything. So the kitchen sink is right here. The window sill, it comes out, like the ledge, it comes out a little bit. And there's plants, flowers, and vases and stuff like that. So I was, like, not even close up to the sink. I was a little bit, like, a foot away from it. And while I was walking by, this plant that's in a porcelain vase, like shaped like an Easter egg, was up there, and it flew. Like, I'm not talking about, it didn't just like fall off. It like flew down hard in the sink, and I was like, oh, can I cuss? Yeah. Oh shit. Okay, so it falls in there, and I'm like, what? The dirt came out and everything, and it was like jarring for the lady I take care of too. I was like, yeah, I go, that just flew out of nowhere for absolutely no reason, because nobody was by the sink or anything like that. And her niece is a little bit older than me, came out of the bathroom, and she was visiting. She was down from Hawaii visiting. She's like, what was that? It sounded like something came down, like with like a push or something. I'm like, yeah. I go, this thing just fell. She's like, I hadn't been anywhere around it like all morning. There was like no reason for it to just that. And I was like, oh man, I really hope that this doesn't keep happening over here now. Like, I don't want to be bringing stuff.
Yeah. And you know what's funny?
Everywhere I go.
It's funny because I just talked about this with another person that's into the whole paranormal thing, Layla. Shout out to Layla.
What up, Layla? Whoop,
whoop. And we were talking about that, how it is that sometimes when people start talking about the paranormal or thinking about stuff like that, it actually kind of activates things to happen. Yeah, you know what? I've had something similar to that happen to me, which I talked in a previous episode, when I went to watch The Conjuring, the first one. And when we got home that night, the same thing, we had something in the sink that in the middle of the night, I mean, it's a long story, but this was part of it, where something from the sink actually flew off from the little ledge into the sink, which was just weird. Yeah, I'll tell you about it later.
Okay. Not at nighttime though, please. I get scared.
Yeah. So, and it's funny that this happened to you right next door to where you used to live, where
where all those little things happen.
Maybe it was a little boy that.
It could be. Yeah. If you guys watched the last episode, I'm talking about a little boy that I saw, my son's dad saw, my son saw, like, we all saw.
And when you told me about this too, what I was thinking was, since it happened right next door to where you used to live, what if, because now that there's neighborhoods, before this, properties were bigger. People used to own big pieces of property.
Yeah, bigger
So
lands.
I'm thinking, what if these spirits that used to haunt you at the other place, that was just all one property.
It could be.
Yeah, because you said
something to look into.
Because you said in the previous place, wasn't there the whole thing where they would also haunt the apartment next door?
Well, see, I was in a duplex, so it's pretty much one building, like one thing. Mm-hmm. So but that's possible. I mean, our places were all built like in the 20s, I want to say.
So that's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking. I'm thinking maybe it's the same. It's just that one piece of property.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
so-
that little boy, he's a traveling little guy. I don't know.
And you know what? We talked about this when you were working on your podcast. Remember how there's certain people that just
Oh,
seem
yeah.
to pull these energies or
It's like
these
an attraction or something.
Yeah.
It just
because I
it
mean
feels like that.
yeah, I think that's what's going on, that you attract these whatever spirit
Yeah, it's
and
like
the
they want to
spirit,
be around. Like you guys
or
want
the
to be
spirit probably
friends.
the spirit probably recognized you,
Yeah, I'm sure. Like I don't.
the energy.
Yeah, the energy doesn't
Yeah.
change. I don't think so.
And you know what? I think this block, because I live right up the street.
Yeah.
Your parents live right
We're
up the street. We all live
like
in the
right
same
here.
block.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've had stuff happen in our house. I know the place in the corner has had stuff happen because we
Yeah.
used to have a family member that used to live there too, and they would hear like noises next door when it was empty.
Oh yeah, same thing. A couple doors down. I won't say which house, but there was a lady when I was a kid. She was already older. I want to say she passed away there, or the husband, somebody passed away there. But there was a time it was empty, and when she lived there was a piano in one of the rooms, a piano, and my parents had heard piano playing, and like nobody was even there. Like piano, you would hear it some nights, ding 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 ding. I don't know. So I mean, I think when we leave this earth, pieces of us still kind of we
Stay
drop
behind.
our little. I guess it depends on how.
Yeah,
I don't know how to explain it.
I mean, there's
Like,
different explanations.
Yeah, I
for
mean,
it.
I don't know. Yeah, we have. There's
Yeah, there's different theories and stuff.
Yeah.
But talking about the like piano sounds from spirits, that actually happened to me at a job site where I went to this house, and this lady lived by herself, this older woman, and there was a piano that they had up on the third floor, and I hadn't seen it, because I went to do some work on the bottom level,
Yeah.
which was like almost like a basement. And while I was down there, I started hearing piano playing.
Yeah.
And my kids play piano, and I play some piano now. But I right away I noticed it, and I'm listening to it while I was working. And when I was done, I went up to the lady was up at the third level, and she's like, "Oh, come upstairs, so I could pay you."
Yeah.
So when I went up there, I saw the piano. So I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah,
I was
there
like,
it
"Oh,
is.
she was playing the piano." So then I asked her, I go, "So you know how to play?" She's like, "No, I don't play." And I was like, "But I heard the piano playing."
Yeah.
She's like, "No, I don't play." She's like, "Nobody's touched the piano." She's
Oh, my
like,
God.
"My husband used to play, but he passed away. I think it was like 10 years previous to that."
Yeah.
And I was listening to the
you're
piano
like,
play
oh, my
downstairs,
God.
which was awesome.
He was all jamming out. Yeah.
It wasn't scary,
Well, yeah, because at the time you probably
I didn't
you
know.
didn't
I
know.
didn't know.
if you knew, it'd probably be a whole different
That's true.
story.
I would have ran out of the house. But yeah, I think you're right when when you say that. A lot of the times, depending on, I think, how much you were attached to a certain item.
Yeah.
Like me, I'm attached to collecting movies. You never
Yeah.
know. Maybe one day when I'm gone, somebody will be in this garage, and they'll see somebody,
Oh,
just looking
yeah.
around the garage, and it'll be me.
Little shadow of you, huh? Just
Yeah.
checking on your stuff that's
Yeah.
not here anymore. Just checking.
Yeah, but I think
Yeah.
it's just that whole, you get that attachment and create these moments in time when, there's such love for something you have.
Yeah.
Just so like with the properties.
Oh yeah.
Because
Oh yeah, that totally makes sense to me.
Because like I was telling Damien right before we filmed that I've actually seen the original owner of the house I live in now, when we barely bought the house, and I didn't know at the time when I saw her, I didn't know it was her.
Yeah.
And right after, I thought it was my wife, and I was like, I saw you pass by.
Yeah.
And well, actually, you know what? Let me tell you the story,
Yeah.
because it's actually pretty good. Excuse me. But the first time when we bought the house, it's like anything else. When you barely move into a place, of course, it's a little creepy, and you feel like different because you're not used to it, right?
Yeah.
So the first time I saw this woman, the original owner, we were in bed, and one of my kids was sick. My younger one was sick, and so we were doing rounds, where we get up during the night, like, okay, I'll get up and go check on her.
Yeah.
And that night it was my turn. So I kept on getting up because she was crying or,
Yeah.
making sounds.
Being a baby.
So I was getting up throughout the night. And finally, it got to the point where it was like, it was almost morning.
Yeah.
And I told my wife, I'm like, you know what? I moved her and I'm like, you got to get up because I need to go. I'm going to go work in the morning.
Yeah.
And I know you're working too, but I'm tired. I need some sleep. So she got up, walked out.
Yeah.
Right? And so I'm trying to go back to sleep, but of course I can't. And she turns on the light in the hallway, which she has a dimmer, so you could actually adjust the light. And she leaves it low, so I could see the light coming in.
Yeah.
So then I see her, who I think is her, walk into the hallway and into the room. And she's standing there, and I'm like looking, and I'm half asleep. And she's like, you know what? She wants you.
Oh my God.
And I was all like, oh man. So anyways, she goes back, right?
Yeah.
And so I get up, and at this point, I'm so frustrated. I'm not asleep at all. I'm just frustrated, kind of upset. I grab my pillow, grab one of the blankets. I'm like, you know what? I'll just sleep on the carpet in the room.
Yeah.
So I'm walking out, and as I'm walking out, I see her come back in, and she passes right in front of me and into the bed. And I'm like, you know what? I turn to her, and I just see a shadow because it's dark in the room. I'm like, I'm just going to sleep over there.
Yeah.
So, it's cool. I'm going to close the door here.
Yeah.
So I walk out, close the door, walk through the hall back into my daughter's room, and my wife is there with my daughter.
Oh my God.
And I just kind of stood like, kind of surprised. Like I was thinking like, wait a second, did I just dream that?
How did that happen?
And she's like, what's wrong? And I didn't want to tell her because I'm like, you know what? I don't want to scare her right now because it's already been a long night. Anyways, that was the first experience.
Yeah.
And the next day I ended up telling her, I was like, you know what, this happened. I go, but you know what, maybe I was asleep.
Yeah, because I think our first experiences is like, it keeps going through your head. Like, did that even...
You try to make sense of it, right?
Yeah.
So you try to start finding excuses why it might not have happened.
Yeah, like there's no way, but it happened.
Yeah. So anyways, a few months later, I had forgotten about it. I'm in the kitchen, and it was morning time.
Yeah.
We were getting the stuff ready for the kids for school. I was making lunches, and I had the fridge open, and the fridge is right next to the hallway that goes into the bedrooms.
Yeah.
And so anyways, I'm putting stuff back in the fridge. I close the door, and as I'm closing the door, I see who I believe is my wife again walk by into the living room. And I see her clearly.
Yeah.
And I even see the color of the clothes she's wearing.
Yeah.
And so I go back to, making a sandwich. Anyways, everything's done. I see my wife, and she's not wearing those colors. So I'm like, did you change your clothes or something? She's like, no. I go, I just saw you pass by. She's like, I haven't even been to the living room yet. I was in the back with the kids, getting them ready for school. And I was like, wait a second, and I started thinking like, okay, I saw the clothes, and trying to remember if I looked at her face.
Yeah.
But of course I didn't, because it's just like, oh, it's just my wife.
Yeah.
And so I ended up talking to my neighbors next door. Shout out to Sam and Rick.
What up?
And telling them about my experiences, and they're like, you know what, the lady that used to, they gave me the name, and so they're like, what did she look like, the person you saw, like, not the face of course, but like height and shape.
Yeah.
So I told them, and I even told them that she was wearing like a little green sweater, and they're like, you know what, that looks, that's what you're telling us is sounds a lot like the person that used to own the house there before.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, I know what I'm seeing. And we had a lot of other things happen in the house at the beginning, which now have stopped.
Yeah.
And now it's just little things here and there. But I think it's that whole thing of, like we were saying, I think the person was really attached to the home because according to what the neighbors told me, the husband had built the house for her.
Okay. Yeah.
So, this was a big thing for them.
You put love into that. That's part of you, a big part of you.
And so I think that's when we leave like an attachment behind.
Oh yeah.
I don't know about the whole thing of staying behind. Like some people believe you stay like in limbo or so. I mean, it's possible.
And that's what I believe. Yeah, I know we have different. Yeah, which is pretty cool. Of
course, yeah.
Because I think some people just get stuck.
Gives us something to fight about.
Yeah, I'm all karate chop you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe in the whole limbo thing. That's probably part of like the Catholic thing too, because we always think like you're in some limbo, but when somebody doesn't realize or they're not ready or they haven't you haven't accepted it, you're kind of stuck. But I think everybody wants to go home, but they just don't know where their home is. You
That
know,
makes
you're
sense.
just kind of, that's how I feel like with that little kid. And then the other things that would happen in my
You know what?
house.
That makes sense because, I mean, I've thought about stuff like that. Like if I die, like, and this does happen where you become a spirit and stuff.
Yeah.
It must be very difficult to, especially knowing if you still have some kind of memory to being alive.
Yeah.
Like it must be hard to just walk away from,
Yeah, because
you know, family and especially your kids if you have kids.
Yeah, I would think that would be really hard to do.
Yeah. So maybe.
Yeah, you never know.
Maybe. But then of course
Yeah.
it also gets into the whole religious thing, like you were talking
Yeah.
about Catholics and stuff. I think in most religions they do believe well, not most, but a lot of religions believe that when you die, you know, you move on.
Yeah.
And you don't stay here. And what the entities or these spirits that we see are bad spirits,
Yeah.
demons,
Yeah.
pretending to be humans to
That's-
try to trick us into
Well, yeah, I
believing.
see. I believe that totally too. That was like the hard thing to, because I have different outlooks on that because of my place where I lived, the haunted one, the very haunted one. There was different feelings that I had. I think I talked about that last time. You would feel something. I'm like, okay, I know something's in the room with me, but not feel scared on the inside. And then there was times where I was like, oh my God, you get this like whole evil presence and you're just so scared because you're like, you already know it's going to do something or somebody's going to see it or you're going to feel it or like, I have a story about this thing and I know it was,
This happened when?
scary when I was living at, down,
Long time ago?
Yeah. Down,
Okay.
like down the street where the hauntings
Oh, okay.
were. So, Joel was like coming over a lot. My ex-fiance. We've been broken up for
Shout out to Joe.
a long time. Hey, Joel, what up? Jolie. So we were there for a long time, but Jack was probably about 4 years old, 3 or 4, and I was really tired this one evening. And he's like, you know what? Go take a nap. I'll watch Jack for you in the front room. We'll watch TV or whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. So the bedroom, it was a one bedroom, was all the way down that scary hallway, all the way in the back. The bathroom's right next to the bedroom.
All right, the setup of that place is real creepy.
It's already creepy. Oh my God, yeah. So, I'm laying there and pretending to be asleep because I didn't want to go in the front room and I wanted to take advantage of what he offered. So I could hear him come in the hallway, like open the door, come down the long hallway, go into the bathroom. He pees, hear him, and I'm like pretending to be asleep in the bedroom because the bedroom door is opened. And then I have my eyes closed, and I could hear him coming in the room and climb on the bed, and he's over me. Like I have my eyes closed, and I could feel him breathing. Like you could feel somebody breathing when they're right in your face. I'm like sweating, and I'm like laying there and I'm like, oh, and I try to scare him by going, rah, and I open my eyes, I'm like, rah, and then nobody's there. And I'm like, oh my God, he's not even in here. He's not even on the bed. It was, I could feel it getting off of the bed. Like, you know, when you feel like
crawling
up and off the weight of it, getting up and off of the bed. And I was like, shit. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm like, my nap isn't going to happen. So I just went to the front room with
So
them.
it's,
It was so
almost
scary.
when, you know, when you get that feeling of somebody watching you, right?
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then
I was always, yeah.
You always felt like somebody's watching.
Yeah. Always. Still, it's just like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that was that story.
Franco Files.
Franco Files coming
Yeah.
to a theater near you.
Yeah, that's cool. And you know what? I think a lot of the times, this runs in the family where when you experience things, usually you'll have your parents went through the same thing because they have that same kind of like gift, kind of, you want to call it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, on one of the previous times you were here, we talked about your dad's experience with the KKK ghost.
Oh,
check it out.
You know what?
Franco Files, part 1.
Yeah, that part 1.
Did your dad have another story?
Well, no, there was something I was going to tell you.
Okay.
So about like last month, we had like a little barbecue at my mom and dad's house. They live down the street. And we're outside in the backyard, and we're all exchanging our ghost stories and like scary stuff. And we all had stuff that none of us had ever told each other. And my mom's telling us, oh, yeah, because I was telling her about, we were talking about the Ouija board. And my mom's like, oh, yeah, we used to have a Ouija board when you guys were little. And, you know, of course, me and Gabe were like, what? Wait, what?
You
we
guys?
did? Why? You know, and my mom said that they had one. She didn't tell me if they played it or not.
Most likely.
But she said that my dad was in the garage breaking it up because he didn't want anything to do with it. He broke it up in pieces. Well, he broke it up in pieces, and she said there was one piece that they never found. And I'm like, really? Maybe. She said it was one piece of the the board, because he broke up the board in pieces, and they got all the pieces together, but there was one piece
missing.
that was missing, and they never found it. We're like, oh, it's all making sense. But yeah, that Ouija board stuff, man,
You don't mess with it.
I played it one time and only one time, and
it had its repercussions.
I will never play with it again. It was I played it once at my friend's house, and there was like a group of us and stuff. And when me and my friend put our hands on it, like, it wasn't really doing anything with anybody else, but as soon as me and her put our hands on it, it was like, you know how that happens if you've ever played it. I don't recommend it if you haven't, but it spelled out ICU in ICU, and we're like, oh, great. And it said it was in her bedroom closet. And after that, there was like things that were happening, you know, like we would see some kind of figure in the mirror from up on her stairs looking out. There was another time we had our friends over, and this girl, Liza, was laying on the bed. She would always fall asleep early. And me, Salome, and Melinda were like in the bedroom, and there was no windows open or anything like that. But we're like, oh my God, look at Liza's hair. It was like somebody was petting her. It was like moving, you know? Yeah. It was really scary for us. We were like 18, 19 years old and stuff like that. And and then there would just be things that we would all experience in our own homes after that. But I do blame the Ouija board on that one.
Well, you know, I think, like you were saying, I don't think the Ouija board works with everybody.
Yeah.
Because I played it. I have a couple of them right here, right behind me. And
I just noticed that.
and they don't seem to work with me ever. So I guess
really?
I don't have that touch to play. But I've heard plenty of stories of people having not just bad experiences, actually positive experiences too, where the Ouija board would tell them like actual things, you know, like not future things, but things that are things that they don't know about somebody else.
Yeah.
What they say is that supposedly you could communicate with good and bad spirits.
Okay.
So it depends, because even in the instructions, there's a thing where it says that when you're done playing, to say goodbye.
Okay, you always have
to close like a portal kind of thing.
Okay.
Because if you leave it open, then
it's like an over and out. Mm-hmm. And then cut the conversation, like you're saying goodbye.
Yeah.
But aren't you letting things in
while you're playing?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. That sometimes you will communicate with, because I had a friend that used to play, and it would be friendly sometimes.
Yeah.
And then sometimes they could tell it was talking to somebody bad, because they would start saying,
be a bad mood.
like, you know, like, oh, you know what, we're gonna rape you, or we're gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
And once it got dark, they would stop playing.
Yeah.
And close the door and be like, you know what, it's like when you do EVP sessions, they recommend that too. Like when I do my my ghost hunts, when you're done, you're supposed to say, you know what, I hope you're at peace, and you know, I meant no harm, and this is the end of it. You know, stay behind, don't follow me.
Yeah, please don't follow me.
So the same thing with the Ouija board. I think the EVPs are kind of like a modern Ouija board.
Okay.
Where now you could actually hear the voices. Yeah,
that stuff scares me.
Did you see that thing I shared about the
I
phone?
was trying to, but it was nighttime, so I didn't. I was starting to, and I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't. I get scared. Even scary stories at nighttime.
Because I did capture this EVP that I think, I don't know if I shared it one of these episodes, but back in the day
Yeah.
when we had answering machines, which for me was barely like, I captured this like 8 years ago.
Okay.
Or 7 years ago. I don't even remember.
Yeah.
But I used to have an answering machine at home for a business I used to have. And people would call and leave, their messages on the machine. And this lady, she passed away now, she's gone. But she would call me about once every like 2-3 months. And she
Yeah.
lived by herself. And she would always leave these long messages. And the thing is, her phone, well, where you hang it up, because they were cordless now,
Yeah.
was all the way in the kitchen. So she would leave the message and then walk to the kitchen,
Yeah.
take her time and hang up the phone. So I always listened to the whole thing. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Also because when I would play the messages, I would be writing notes, like phone numbers or whatever. And so I would never like stop it right away. So it would play till it ended, and then the next message would come on.
Yeah.
So this is when I had gone to the Queen Mary, and this is where my whole ghost adventures started, kind of thing. And I got into the paranormal. I started paying attention to things, which is another thing that I also believe. I think a lot of people experience hauntings, and we don't even know about it because we're not paying attention.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So after I started doing the EVPs, that's when I started listening to everything. And so anyways, I was taking notes, listening to the answering machine. And the lady, you hear her say, call me back, please, in Spanish. She says, por favor. And then you start hearing the journey of walking to hang up the phone. And while she's walking to hang up the phone, you start hearing what sounds like two voices talking to each other. Not talking to each other, but talking almost at the same time. And she says, por favor. And then you hear the voice say, like whisper, it goes, she won't know.
Oh my God.
And then another voice repeats it. That sounds a different voice. It goes, she won't know, which sounds almost robotic.
Yeah.
And then the other voice again whispers, but louder, goes, she is nothing.
That's weird.
Yeah, see,
Sorry.
she says, she is nothing. And then you hear the other voice say again, she is nothing. And then you hear like this really weird echoing, like,
so
wah, 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 wah.
Yeah.
And then it hangs up. And I was just like, did I,
Yeah.
when I was writing the notes, I was like, wait a second, was that my imagination? Was it maybe the TV or something? So I go over it over and over, and I share it on Facebook, on San Pedro Paranormal on Facebook.
Yes, there you go.
And other people that start hearing it, this was, a while back.
Yeah.
They start commenting, you know what, there's other things going on in there. You hear other voices.
Wow.
I guess people like put, the volume up with headphones. And there's multiple voices talking.
That's so crazy.
And I didn't share the whole recording because I let my brother hear the whole recording. And he's like, you know what? Even while she's talking,
You can hear it?
you hear voices talking, and then you hear what sounds like animals growling. It's really weird.
Oh, that's weird.
And I don't have the answering machine anymore. It's gone.
Oh. Boo.
I know. But I do have the recording on Facebook now. Even the recording, when I record onto my old phone and then shared it from that phone's gone. And now only that trace of Facebook is left. And I wish I could just take it out of there and share it. Facebook, for some reason, won't let me take
it doesn't?
To share another platform. Maybe there's a way if I record it with my another phone, but then it won't be as clear.
Well, you can't save it, download it?
It won't let me. From the old videos that I shared, it won't let me share them into other things anymore.
Really?
I'll try.
We'll try to. I'm gonna help him figure that out.
The technician part 2. Carlos part 2. Carlos,
what up?
Carlos will be coming back for the next episode with me.
Woo woo.
Yeah.
Carlos goes away.
Anyways, I think we're good for today, right? Because I know you're gonna be coming back to do some more.
I have more stories.
Franco Files part 3.
We could save them.
Yeah. But anyways, Damien, is there anything? Oh, you wanted to mention about the person you've been doing movie props for.
Oh,
before
yes. Okay, so it all started on a starry night. No. So my friend Aaron Portillo asked me to make a prop for his party, and he was doing a Twilight Zone party.
Shout out to Aaron.
Shout out Aaron Portillo. Whoa, whoa. Everything's whoa, whoa for some reason today. I don't know. Anyways, so I did a Talkie Tina doll for him, and it came out pretty cool. I liked it. And anyways, I've been talking to this actor, producer, director dude from Pittsburgh. His name's John Niederer. He's out of Pittsburgh, and he made a film recently, which I'll talk about that. But I was showing him the doll. I sent him pictures. I'm like, look what I'm working on right now. And he's like, oh, I like that. He's like, can I hire you to be master prop for my movie that I'm going to start filming soon? And I was like, oh my gosh, yes, that's like a dream come true to make props for a movie. Because I do costume design and I make props, but nothing that's ever been like, on the next level, anything like that. So I was like, heck yeah. So I made some stuff for his film. It's a vampire short called Barflies.
You actually got invited to the premiere too,
yeah,
right?
that's going to be in November out in Pittsburgh. So I'm going to fly out there. So
yeah, that's awesome.
I got to find
so
a
awesome.
fly buddy to come with me because I don't want to travel by myself.
And hopefully, you know what? Hopefully you could, if you do go, take some footage and stuff that we could share on the other show.
Oh, yeah, I know, for sure. Cool. Oh, my God. I'm so excited. So I'm going to read this. I don't really like to read stuff. Leading the cast are Broadway actress Jean Lauren Smith and HBO, NBC, CBS actor Isaiah Seward. He's from the Nick, New Amsterdam, FBI. Also, if you guys follow UFC, let's see, his supporting role is veteran UFC fighter Chris Dempsey. John Niederer is a 2001 graduate of New Actors Workshop, will make his directorial debut. Niederer studied under Oscar-winning director Mike Nichols, The Graduate, from 1999 until the director's passing in 2014. There's more. Barflies, the film, will preview at the Hollywood Theater in Pittsburgh October 28th and premiere as part of the DEADAM Horror Anthology at Horror Realm Con in late November. The film will have a NYC screening and is in talks for an LA screening. The film will then hit the Indie Film Festival circuit. Barflies 2 is currently in development. Anyways, I'm really excited to be part of that. Anyways, to do props for that
that's
movie.
awesome.
So
and you know what? I saw the props you made. You showed me you sent me some of the pics and videos of and it's ingenious.
Thank
the
you
way
so
you
much.
made them. It's
Thank
really cool.
you.
But anyways, all right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the channel. And San Pedro Paranormal is back.
Yes.
With a vengeance. Stop hitting the mic.
I know.
Yeah, we're back with a vengeance. And Carlos will be here next time with me. And shout out Carlos again. Thanks for watching. And we'll see you guys next time.
Peace out.
Yeah.